But I want to talk about the news of today for Georgia fans, which was that London Humphreys finally announced that he would be making his intentions known, going to transfer to the University of Georgia after a freshman year out there at Vanderbilt. This is a football player that, per my reporting and per my sourcing, is going to slide into whatever role it looks like at the Z position spot. And I know a lot of people will hear that, the football knowers and the certified ball knowers on this channel, they'll immediately say, ooh, that's connection to Ladd McConkey. That's the spot that he's been playing the last couple of years. I think they needed this addition to their roster with or without the decision of Ladd McConkey. I think he's leaning towards the league. We don't know 100% certainty. We haven't heard any type of announcements. We're pretty sure he's going to play in the Orange Bowl, but then again, we don't really know about that one because this is a football player that just finished up at much less than 100% in the SEC championship game against Alabama. So health is now playing a role in this decision. But despite all of that information I just gave you, this football player is going to come in and play the Z spot. I want to do a little something fun with you guys today. I always love when people do like resume A versus resume B. They make the audience choose which resume they like, and then they reveal the resume to the audience. We're going to do a little something similar tonight because I think when a lot of people see this commitment announcement, when they see this player that looks like this and his name is London Humphreys and he's from Vanderbilt, a lot of people are going to do the thing. All right, so we're not going to let you do the thing today. We're going to sell you on something completely opposite of the thing. So let's take it to the board. Look at my man's out there. Shouts out to the Buffalo. My man's over there running the cameras. I'm so daggone proud. All right, so let's get rid of this. All right, so let's put player A over here. All right, let's draw a line. And let's put player B over here. Now, player A is a 10, 7, 800 meter runner. Player B is a 10, 5, 500-meter runner. Player A runs the 200 in 21:68. Player B runs the 200 in 21:67. So he's got about a hundredth of a second. Player A jumps the long jump in 24 feet and a quarter of an inch. Okay? Player B has him in that explosive metric by about 8 inches. Okay? He jumped 24 feet, 9 inches. All right, so on the surface of that, you would say player A is about 95% of an explosive athlete as player B, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so audience, people at home, my boys sitting here in the studio, what if I told you player A is 6'3" and player B is just at about 6'1"? What would you do then?
Take player A.
Absolutely, take player A.
Just over the 2 inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Weight about comparable, about the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, player A is our boy London Humphreys. Okay, any guesses? No cheats. You already know the answer. Any guesses who player B might be?
Ladd McConkey.
No. Player B is actually the preseason All-American Malachi Starks.
Whoa.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. London Humphreys is about 96% of the explosive metrics as one Malachi Starks, who pound for pound was one of the most explosive and electric and athletic measurables and testing guys that the scouting world has ever seen. So much so they didn't even know what position the man was going to play in college, but was automatically labeled a 5-star because he was doing stuff like this.
So in other words, Georgia just got a dude at wide receiver.
I mean, here's the deal. The metrics say that, but there's a reason he was at Vanderbilt. And here's the reason. Not quite a refined route runner here yet. All right, but stupid measurables. Okay, all this stuff that defies quote-unquote lunch pail guys or, hard workers or guys that are just grinders, real slot receivers, real possession-y guys. No, not this one. This one is an athletic freak, all right, when it comes to this stuff. How did he slide, though? That's my question.
Yeah.
Because any metrics like this coming out from like a metro city like in Atlanta, if you do this stuff at Grayson, I don't care if you're white, black, purple, or orange. You're going to go Power 5, all right, and big time. You're going to go to the SEC at 6'3". This was one that slipped through the cracks but didn't do it long because he had 470 yards as a true freshman. So, yeah, there you go. London Humphreys, tail of the tape, very, very explosive athlete. So there you go. I think people are going to be surprised by that.
I certainly was.
I know. I when I looked at it today, and when I saw the 100, I was like, okay, buddy can roll.
Right.
When I saw the 200, I was like, oh no. Buddy not only rolls, Buddy might be up here with like all of the super freaks with regards to the explosive metrics. And then you get that long jump number. That long jump number is elite. Anything over 24 feet is like, wow. And then on top of that, he's 6'4". Yeah, so some folks in the chat saying Arian Smith is faster. Arian Smith is faster. Yeah. He is. But Arian Smith doesn't have a career 20-yard reception or 20 reception season. No. He don't even have that. London Humphreys did that year one and did it really, really well. 22 receptions for 439 yards, averaged 20 yards a catch, and was freshman All-SEC. Going to spend the last 3 years of his college eligibility at the University of Georgia. And that's the really good thing about what they've done. Spin camera 3 back for me. What they've done, actually you can leave it there. We're going to go to the board in a second. What they've done in the transfer portal has been like not only dudes that they've played against, dudes that they know have been Power 5 good, but also guys that have multiple years of eligibility left. The only one that I can think of that they took, off the top of my head, maybe Lawrence Cager the only one and done? Eli Wolf stuck around for 2 or had the option to do so. Ra Thomas has 2. Dominic Lovett going to stick around for 2. The tight end from Florida State, McKitty, Trey McKitty left early. Okay, that was a guy that had an additional year as well. So I think there are some trends here with regards to only taking P5 retreads and only taking dudes with multiple years to really absorb what it is that they do there at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, the only other transfer that I remember Georgia taking that only stayed around 1 year. I can't remember if he had an extra year, if he just left early or whatnot, but Maurice Smith, the defensive back in 2016, that's the only other one that I can remember.
That does sound like a one and done.
My big question with this is, like we were talking about earlier, London Humphreys, ex-Ladd McConkey in that Z spot. How to you does that – I mean, it looks like you're not sacrificing. You might even be upgrading depending on what metric you're looking at. Yeah. The athlete, what does that difference in size, being at 6'3", what can they do in this Georgia offense out of that Z spot?
So it decreases the need for immediate separation, right? Mm-hmm. When you have this type of length, you can get balls at a much tighter coverage rate. What I think you lose is the ability to double move. Okay, Ladd wasn't this build speed guy. Ladd had both short area quickness and could go 0 to 60. Okay, so he had that top end speed with that short area quickness that allowed him to do all these double moves that you've seen them kind of not necessarily lean on to be explosive, but when they've needed explosives the last couple of years, they've called on Ladd to do these double moves. So I think what you might, take, you have added a vertical presence. I think the idea that, he's sliding in for Ladd, he is sliding in for Ladd, but he's also making up for all the stuff that you've missed out of the Arian Smith development. The fact that Arian Smith went, 10 games this year, not really being able to be trusted catching the football, okay, until they force-fed him. And once Ladd really got hurt and really banged up towards the end of the year, Tennessee really mixing him in, Georgia Tech mixing him in, and then you see in the SEC championship game, they finally dial up a deep shot for him. But this is going to be – now you become less tendency-laden, right? Where in years past, Ladd's on the field, hey, watch out for the double move. He might be able to take you deep, but the route tree is this. Okay, Arian Smith coming on the field, hey, watch out, going to run right by you. Now you have kind of an ability to do both with this, pick up in terms of London Humphreys.
So my question then is, do you think that them picking up a wide receiver, I know that there's been talk about maybe picking up another wide receiver for Georgia this offseason, like a Colby Young or something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
Do you think this is telling of maybe Georgia is going to step away from 12 personnel next year and they're maybe going to run a lot more 11?
So I think you would have stepped away from 12 for this reason anyways. People always said that Darnell was the reason you were playing 12 personnel. I would say the contrary. I think you were playing 12 personnel for so many years because Brock Bowers is he's such a good hybrid, such a good move tight end that if I have 2 tight ends on the field, if they're 2 lumbersome tight ends, you're just Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care. It's not your 12 personnel is not stressing me. It's not. We talked about it before the Ohio State game about how are you going to count it, right? Are you going to count it 11 or are you going to count it 12? Well, this toss-up in the air of what do we count it only was created because you don't know what to do with Brock Bowers. You don't know if he's a wide receiver. You don't know if he's a tight end. That was the stressor of the 12. So when that guy gets removed from the conversation, is Oscar Delp going to do those things? Is that where it's going to come from? Because Oscar Delp spent the last 18 months becoming a Y, like becoming a guy that can put his hand in the dirt. If you'd have told me Oscar Delp 2020 at 225 pounds running 4.5 flat, like, yeah, maybe that guy develops into what Bowers was in terms of a personnel count mismatch. But this guy right here, I don't necessarily know if that's what it's going to be. But you're still going to be hey, short yardage, obvious rundowns where we might bump into 12 and stuff like that because